In the bustling heart of Meadowbrook, amidst the towering skyscrapers and the city's constant hum, sat a man many walked past without a second glance. His hair was streaked with gray, his clothes were tattered and worn. Every morning he took his place on the same park bench, quietly feeding pigeons and watching the world go by. People whispered about him, calling him a vagabond, a stray. They hurried past, pretending not to notice. His name was Harold, but to most of Meadowbrook he was invisible. What no one knew was that Harold's life was far from ordinary. Decades ago, he had been the head of Meadowbrook's fire department. Not just any firefighter, but the man who had saved the city from one of the deadliest fires in its history. The memory of that night was etched into the city's memory, but over time his heroism faded into history books, and Harold himself had quietly disappeared. The fire had started in a massive 20-story apartment complex. A faulty gas line had exploded, turning the building into a roaring inferno. Flames spread with terrifying speed. Harold, then only 35, organized the firefighting efforts with unmatched courage and strategy. He coordinated evacuations, ran into burning hallways to save trapped families, and risked his own life to pull children from the smoke-filled top floors. By the time the fire was under control, Harold had saved over 50 lives. The city hailed him as a hero. There were parades, medals, and his face was on the front page of every newspaper. But fame was never what Harold wanted. He returned to his modest life, always focused on the work, not the recognition. Years went by, and life took a cruel turn. A sudden illness drained his savings, and a series of misfortunes left him without a home. Friends moved away, and the city he had saved carried on, unaware of the man behind the legend. Harold became just another figure on a park bench. One chilly morning, a young girl named Emily was walking to school when she noticed Harold struggling to stand. Her heart went out to him. Unlike the others, she didn't hurry past. She offered him a warm sandwich from her lunch bag and asked if he was okay. Harold looked at her with tired eyes and a faint smile. "Thank you, young lady, you're very kind," Emily was curious. She asked him why he lived in the park. Harold chuckled softly, a sound like a whisper from the past. Life has a way of surprising you. Once, I saved a city. Now I can't even save myself. Emily didn't understand everything, but she knew he deserved help. She told her parents, who reached out to the local community center. Slowly, news of the homeless man with a mysterious past began to spread. The city's historian, Mr. Collins, took an interest. He remembered the legendary firefighter from decades ago, Harold. He dug into the archives and realized with astonishment that the man in the park was indeed the hero who had saved countless lives. Mr. Collins contacted the mayor. A week later, the city organized a special ceremony. Harold, still in his worn clothes, was escorted to the city hall. Crowds gathered, murmuring and whispering. The mayor stepped forward and shook Harold's hand. "Harold, decades ago, you saved this city from one of its darkest nights. We owe you more than words can express. We are honored to have you here today." Harold's eyes glistened with tears. He had never sought recognition, but at that moment, he felt seen not for what he had become, but for the life he had lived. The city that had ignored him now stood in respect and gratitude. From that day on, Harold didn't have to sit alone on the park bench. The community offered him a home, and volunteers helped him regain his health. Children would gather to listen to his stories about bravery and resilience. And every time someone asked why he had ended up in the streets, Harold would smile and say, "Sometimes, even heroes need a little help." Harold's story became a lesson for the entire city. Never judge someone by their appearance, and never forget that courage and heroism often live quietly, far from the eyes of the world. Though Harold had once been invisible, his true legacy now shone brighter than any medal or parade ever could. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe for more content that inspires.